Romanesco. It's like the weird brother of the cauliflower and the broccoli. Really strange to look at. If you get them in your veg box, it can be quite intimidating. They don't really look that familiar and it can be confusing to know what to do with them. Simple tip, anything that uses cauliflower, you can use Romanesco. It's got a slightly deeper, sort of nuttier flavour, and I think it's more superior than the humble cauliflower. As with all brassicas, very good for you, full of all the good stuff. Everything about this is edible, the core's edible, the leaves and the stems are edible, and certainly the florets are edible. If you want to know lots of ways of cutting them up, have a look at our cauliflower veg hack. Very similar principle applies to the Romanesco. These are edible raw, you can steam them, you can fry them, you can stir fry them, you can roast them. What we're going to do today is we're going to make steaks, we're going to fry and then we're going to roast them in a lovely spice mix, and then we're going to serve it with a delicious dipping sauce. The first things you want to do is you want to get the leaves off. Now we're going to be using these leaves, so don't throw them away. Get the leaves off just so that we can get to the actual Romanesco, and so it makes it a lot easier to cut it when you can actually see it. I know I just said everything's edible, but you might want to cut off the very bottom of the stalk because it just gets a bit dry and a bit tough, and that's just what happens when you cut them and it oxidizes and it goes a bit too tough. You can either use that as a stock. If you've got a little stock bag in the freezer, add it to that. If not, just throw it to the chickens. Wow, that's a sharp knife. The easiest way to cut it up is put it on its base and slice down. Now don't worry if it goes into the florets, because we will use the florets as well, but you do want to get a few nice size, big chunky steaks, like so. God, that's a big boy, isn't it? It's gonna be delicious. Chuck it in your roasting tin, and now with the leaves, they are completely edible, but like that, they're a little bit too big. So what I'll do is I'll just get my knife and I'll run it down the middle, just because it will make it that much more easier to eat and more enjoyable with a nice crunchy texture. Sometimes like the trick with just vegetables, because they're going to taste delicious anyway, but what really sort of makes a difference is sort of how you cut and prepare them can have a really sort of important effect to how they taste at the end. So just spend that extra couple of minutes cutting down your leaves and you'll be delighted, I'm sure. Next we're going to add our flavour. We're going to use Chinese 5-spice. 5-spice is a blend of fennel seeds, Chinese cinnamon, cloves, Szechuan pepper, and fennel seeds. So cover your steaks. Now be generous, there's no point messing about at this stage. Cover with olive oil as well, and you want to give it a nice mix through. You want to really make sure that everything is coated in oil and the spice mix to get that proper flavour all the way through. In a hot frying pan, just get your steaks now and stick them in. You'll get a nice sizzle, which means it's hot enough. And also get the florets. Don't bother sticking in the leaves because they will cook lovely in the oven in a second. But what we want to do is we just want to get a nice sort of caramelization on the Romanesco before we put it in the oven. Cauliflowers are actually flowers. They are the edible flowering bud of the cauliflower plant. So with Romanesco and broccoli, basically all the brassicas, you can either pick them when they're really small and just have them as little sprouting broccolis or sprouting cauliflowers, or you let them develop and actually mature, and then you just get a lot bigger sort of flower head. But it's actually quite peculiar, but that is actually a flower. I mean, that's probably been in the pan now for about 4 or 5 minutes. You can kind of hear that it's starting to catch and caramelize nicely on the bottom. So this is a good time to turn them over. And you should see, yeah, they've gone lovely and brown on the bottom. So flip your steaks over, give the little florets a little toss. So now this is the time I'm gonna add quite a lot of butter actually, because this is my lunch and I like butter. If you don't like butter, then don't add it. Add a little bit more oil or use sort of dairy-free alternatives. Now the reason we're adding the butter now is because the pan's really hot, so we want it to brown, but we don't want it to burn. If we'd added it at the beginning, then it'd probably already be burned by now. So you'll see, because there's salt in the butter, it will start to foam up nicely around the cauliflower. Really make sure it's melt. Get yourself a spoon and baste the cauliflower. Really want it to soak in that. And like I said, if you don't want to use butter, you can do the same with a bit of oil as well. Now that butter will have lifted all of that spice mix, which has just started to catch on the bottom of the pan. So this batter will have a lovely and sort of intense flavour now. Give it a stir, make sure it's all covered up. Now, if the Romanesco's got quite thick stalks, like in the middle there, obviously it's going to take quite a while to cook. So if you give it a little stab with your knife, then that will just speed the process up a little bit. And now, when you pour the butter on top, the butter will sort of penetrate right through and it will just make it a little bit softer and cook a little bit better. In our dish, we've still got the leaves, so leave them in there. Get the steaks back in the dish, pour the florets and the butter back on top. And now we're just going to finish these off in the oven. It's probably going to be about sort of 15 minutes at 180 degrees. So this has been in the oven now for about 15 to 20 minutes. It's gone really soft and it's really gone brown. The butter's gone a lovely golden colour. This is delicious on top of couscous. You can run the florets through rice. It's just a really nice little sort of really light lunch. I think it goes really well with sriracha. So if you remember from the chili recipe, sriracha is fermented chili sauce which has been cooked down in sugar. So I'm just going to give it a nice gentle coating of that, and then that will be delicious. So it's really good, it's super tasty. It is super tasty. We've got sriracha, James, it's delicious. That's delicious with the sriracha, it's like sweet and spicy. It's delicious, I love it.
What is it?
It's delicious. I love it. If there's any other vegetable you'd like to see us talk about, cook or prepare, then just leave us a comment. Hit the notification bell to stay tuned for more weekly videos.